Can y'all help me pick my 100th book of the year? I have read 99 books officially this year, and I want to read my 100th book officially, and I don't know which one it should be. I have a couple already on the go that I could be reading, or options to start, and I would like you guys to pick for me because I have no ability to choose. I am currently reading my Arc of Uncharmed. Yes, this is already out in the world. Yes, I'm very behind. By Lucy Jane Wood, so I could read this and finish this, or I could read any of these priority TBR reads. I'm 80 pages into the Just Said Crown, and I have not started any of these. This one, my Libby hold is coming out on. This is the Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I have the audiobook for it on Libby, and it is running out in like 2 days. So there's this one. This one is a romantasy that I have, or like a romance fantasy. I'm not sure which one this classifies as, that I have the audiobook for. This is A Feather So Black. I have a sci-fi, The Bound Worlds by Megan E. O'Keefe, that this would finish up the trilogy. This would also finish up the trilogy. And this would also finish up the trilogy. Red Tempest Brother by Hannah Long, the third and final book in her Winter Sea trilogy. So these are all options. I do also have this entire TBR mantle behind me, but I think I'm gonna leave it at those for now. And you guys are gonna choose for me in the comments, okay? Thank you so much. Tell me what I should read for my 100th book. Even Freya says thanks. Oh, look at that. She's sniffing the camera. She's giving you kisses. Oh, so nice. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to a little Thursday night vlog yet again. But this Thursday, I want to read my 100th book of the year, or at least try to, because some of the options I have are very chunky. I don't know if I will get through them in a night. Some of them for sure would be able to because I'm a quick reader. But other than that, I also want to be making a Freya ornament because I saw this on Etsy and told myself I can make that for a lot less than the $60 it would cost to get it to me because this is from the UK and shipping is crazy. And because it's handmade and all that kind of stuff, the person is charging what it would cost for handmade things, right? So I went to Michael's today and I picked up some stuff to make said thing with. Super glue, of course. We have this bit of garland that I think I'm going to cut pieces off of and like use as a collar for her, which is gonna be very cute. I have, of course, the black felt for it. And I also picked up a little embroidery floss for the edges and stuff like that. And I do have an absolute enormous amount of like leftover yarn pieces from all of my crochet that I've been doing and knitting that I've been doing. So that's what I'm gonna use to stuff it. And then outside of that, I also found this paint by number that I also wanna do. So it's between the ornament. I think I'm gonna make the ornament and save this for this weekend as a craft. I also picked up more yarn because of course I fucking did. This is a gray Loops and Threads Luxe Merino wool blend. I have been working with black version of this for my mom's one of her gifts, which is a little like ascot scarf. And then I also have the pink version of this and I'm making her a headband in, and I've been loving working with it. So I'm gonna make my dad a headband in this, even though I did make him a headband previously. I think this is gonna work better. I'm gonna do something slightly different than I did anyways. So I picked up more yarn because of course I did. Anyways, tonight, we are going to be reading my 100th book of the year, and we're going to be crafty, and I wanted to vlog it for you guys. I asked on TikTok and on Instagram and on Threads, because I forgot that Instagram was connected to Threads, which of the 5 or 6 books that I gave as options I should read as my 100th book of the year. The options were Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood, Red Tempest Brother by Hannah Long, which would wrap up a trilogy. Actually, 4 of these would wrap up a series if I read that tonight. So also very productive. We have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. Hi, sweetness. She says, Mom, what are you doing? I also got her a new wand toy today because we broke hers the other day playing with it. So we have a really long fish wand toy. Oh! She got too excited and knocked over her scratcher. She likes it so much. It's nice and long and it's very stretchy. She likes the cord. Anyways, distracted halfway through that. We also have The Bound Worlds by Megan O'Keefe. We have The Just Said Crown, which I'm 80 pages in, by Sarah Hashem. And then we have A Feather So Black by Lyra Celine. This one and Uncharmed, I guess, are the only ones that are not like completing a series. This would actually be beginning another series. So I've left it up to TikTok and Instagram and Threads to decide. So I'm gonna go check in and see what they are saying. I might have to do tallies and stuff for what is going to end up winning and being my 100th book of the year. Let's see. All right, I looked on TikTok, on Threads, and on Instagram, and we have 3 votes for the Just Odd Crown, 1 vote for Red Tempest Brother, 1 vote for Feather So Black, 2 votes for Uncharmed, my arc, no votes for the Megan E. O'Keefe, and 1 vote for Emily Wilde. So that means we're going to be trying to read the Just Odd Crown today. That is a chunky fantasy book. I do not know if I will be able to finish it in this vlog, but we're going to give it a good try, and that'll be my 100th book of the year. Very cool. Anyways, I'm going to get my jeans off of my body. I'm going to start reading that, make some dinner, and start crafting and start making that ornament, the Freya ornament. Because I have like a process idea in my head for this that I want to try. So we're going to see if it works. But cool. All right. 100th book of the year is going to be The Just Odd Crown by Sarah Hashem.
Baby, these no for you. No.
Hello friends, it is now 10 after 10 and I'm officially halfway through the Just Odd Crown. I'm getting tired. I can feel a little bit of a headache brewing too, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break, get some Advil, maybe make a tea. But I'm gonna still try and get a good chunk done of this still tonight. I mean, I've read 337 pages tonight. Because I restarted it because I couldn't remember the first 60 pages that I had read of this. And it was only 60 pages. I thought it was 80. It was 60. I was wrong. So reread those very easily, listening to an audiobook as I did the Freya ornament, which I'm so happy with. It's not like perfect, and it took me many tries. It was much more tricky than I anticipated it being. Turns out embroidering black felt is difficult because you can't see shit. But I love the way her face turned out. It took 2 tries for her face. I wish I had done something different with the embroidery around the edges, but I think it's still fine. And I think it works, and I think it's really cute. Because funnily enough, it is really difficult to find ornaments with a black cat. I even checked like the Halloween sections and stuff in October just to see if I could find one leading up to Christmas, and nope. Only really expensive made ones on Etsy. So I made one instead for my little baboon, who was right here being very cuddly. But yes, I am really enjoying the read of the Jasad Crown. So I'm actually really glad that I left a little bit of time between when I read the first one and the second one, because I remember trying to dive into the Jasad Crown like right after I finished the Jasad Heir. I had a little bit of trouble with the fact that we were going from like a one POV to now multi POV. I was, maybe the Jasad Crown has a couple POVs from Aaron, but this one is like, it starts with Aaron's point of view, and Sylvia, our main character, is a lot less in this book than in the previous one, even though it's still surrounding around her because she is our main character. But we also have POVs from Seifa and Merrick, which I think is really interesting. I don't love the audiobook narrators for either of them. Merrick sounds very like dry and bland. Seifa's isn't that bad, but I am enjoying Aaron's one because it's a different audiobook narrator than the first book. This is great, and I'm gonna keep my thoughts very, very vague because this is obviously the sequel to the first one. But I'm really enjoying seeing where, look at this thing. Look at this thing. She's an absolute menace. You're a menace among, oh, you're so sweet. Giving me kisses. Sorry, distracting. She's so warm and soft and cuddly. What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. I like where this is going since the first one, because the first one is very interesting. So the first one follows Sylvia, who is a lost heir to Jasad, this kingdom that was raised at one point due to the fact that it has magic. It is the only one that has magic, and magic is now outlawed. And any Jasadi, so anyone from this place who like fled, who left Jasad as it was crumbling and whatever and sought out refuge elsewhere, if they use their magic, they're usually hanged for it. We're following Sylvia, our main character. Wow, I'm really tired. I can't string thoughts together today. And she is in this village. She's kind of in hiding, but she's made herself a life there. And she accidentally kills a Najal soldier. She snaps his back, which is crazy. Might I just say. And the Najal heir is someone who can drain magic. He's got a weird little power going on for some reason that we're not entirely sure of yet. But she was being here. But Sylvia accidentally kind of shows her hand in front of the Najal heir. And instead of capturing her and killing her, he decides to use her as his champion in this kind of game, this ahrania that's coming up, that is that the right word for it? Ahrania? I'm not sure. There's a word for it. I don't know if that's the right word. I might be pulling that word from the depths of my knowledge of the Jasmine Throne from Tasha Shuri. But there's some sort of game coming up where each of the heirs to all these different kingdoms need to bring their champions, and it's like, you know, it's not expected for any of the champions to live except for the one who wins, and it's very deadly games, etc., etc. So that is the end goal of this book, is those games. So it's Aaron basically having captured Sylvia, but she still like has agency and she still has chosen this to like go along with it. But she's like taken into captivity and they train, and there's a couple of guardsmen there and they're really interesting as well. And she gets to know Aaron and he also gets to know her. And there's also just a gentle little bit of an enemies to lovers brewing. And by the end of that book, I fucking love the romance happening between them. Do I love them together? No, but I kind of love the romance that's happening between them, just for the tension of it all. And the Jasad Heir is one of the best enemies to lovers I've ever read in fantasy, because like that is true. They hate each other, will rip each other apart. Best thing is that if our Najal heir, Aaron, gets his bare hands onto Sylvia, he cannot control himself and will kill her because of his power. So he like can't touch her with bare skin. In the first book, she has cuffs on her, magical cuffs that no one can see except for herself, that are like locking her magic in. So he can't, like, Aaron can come into contact with her a little bit, and it's not like as bad, but he does kind of lose himself a couple times when he does this, and it becomes very dangerous. It's a really interesting dynamic between the two of them. And where things end at the end of the first book, it just is so delicious to see where things went in that first book. Now we're following multiple people because of the events of the end of the first book, because Seifa and Marek are Sylvia's two like best friends, and they get thrown into situation that they didn't anticipate at the end of the first book because of Sylvia. So it's kind of crazy. And I'm really glad that we're following them in some circumstances. And I don't know why yet. Like, there's so many questions that I have. There's so many plot threads up in the air. Like, there's so many twisting, turning. Like, this should have been a trilogy, because then we would have been allowed to like sit in it more, because this is over 600 pages and it is rife with story. I'm only halfway through and I feel like I've read an entire book already, because basically I've read like a basic fantasy book at 337 pages. This should have been a trilogy, I think, because it would have allowed Sarah Hashem, the author, to expand on this world a little bit more. But I'm really interested to see how she does it in a duology, because I've been debating in my head whether I like duologies or trilogies better, because I find so many different trilogies in this world have second books that just fail so hard because they only exist to bridge from book 1 to book 3 and like set a lot of things up. And I know there's some people in this world who genuinely quite like that in a second book, but I think each book in a trilogy should have its own storyline. Like, there's so many second books and trilogies that are just so boring. Like, they don't do anything and they don't really add anything to the story except for setting up for the third book. I really like duologies when they're done well because they have an interesting structure to them. I don't know, I find it really delicious seeing what an author can do with 2 books rather than 3. Because of course, in the Western style of storytelling, we follow the 3-act structure across everything basically, right? Sure, you could argue for 5-act, 7-act, whatever. It is all the same. It is a 3-act structure, and we follow that to a T. And when we have a trilogy, that 3-act structure is followed, and that second book drags. And the only way to fix that is if you actually properly hit those Act 2 moments really, really, really well. You amp up everything. You turn what you've learned in book 1 on its head. You give it its own plot line that does actually wrap up at the end of the book, but also adds so much more for the third book. There's so many different ways that you can do that, and I find trilogies absolutely fascinating. But I also find duologies really fascinating. Another duology that I really liked, I don't even know the point of this rant, but a duology that I really liked was Shelley Parker Chan's She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World, but that is one that I believe genuinely should have been a trilogy, because the ending of that second book just did not do it for me, because it was so rushed. The tone and the pace and the storytelling vibe of the first 60% of that series, so like all of book 1 and some of book 2 up until like 40% towards the end of it, the tone that had set up did not match the ending of the series, and the ending of the series had to go so fast just to get to where it wanted to be. And that, I think, was so sad, because it genuinely is such a beautiful duology and it's such a beautiful story. Well, maybe not necessarily beautiful, but like, it's so well done. It is an absolute masterpiece of study of gender and fate and history, and it's so cool. And so Shelley Parker Chan is a master at what they do, but that one should have been a trilogy. So I don't know. Have you guys ever read a duology where you genuinely believe it was extremely well done and well balanced across the 2 books and, like, you know, knocked it out of the park? Because I'm trying to think, and I think one of the only ones that I've come across that I can think of right now is 7 Devils and 7 Mercies by Elizabeth May and Laura Lamb. Absolutely fucking loved that series. I'm staring at my shelves and I don't remember any other duology that I've genuinely read. I know there are more because I've done a post on TikTok about that. Maybe the Sunbearer Trials and Celestial Monsters, those ones weren't bad. Ooh, Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares. I really enjoyed that as a duology. It went places that I did not anticipate. Yeah, I don't know. I find duologies very interesting structure-wise compared to a trilogy structure-wise. Anyways, that's just my little rant to say that I am enjoying this, and I also have no idea where this is going, and I'm very interested to see what the last half of this book has in store for me. Do I anticipate finishing it tonight? Dear God, no. I am tired of reading, I think, and I'm gonna take a little break, as I said at the beginning of this clip, and we'll see where we get to. I think I'm also gonna start editing this vlog before a headache fully sets in, because I still need to get this up for tomorrow, so... Yeah, it's been a really good evening though. Like, this is more reading than I've done in like a week and a half. Because I have not been reading. I have read 4 books in November, and it's November 18th today. 18th, 19th, something like that. Shit's crazy, guys. My reading has gone so downhill. Have I written anything? No, I need to pick that back up too because I miss my piratey babies. So yeah, this has been a really good Thursday. It's been crafty. It's been reedy. It's been full of this little bean. And I'm back to doing some knitting, which is very fun. This particular project is very mindless. It's just continuous knit stitch. So that's really great when I'm like reading it at the same time. We love a continuous knit stitch. Much easier than trying to do knit purl, which is what this project is on these needles over here. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling because I don't know if any of that made actual sense. And I'm gonna get a tea. I'm gonna maybe read a little more, kind of wind down my evening. But yeah, I'll check in with you guys a little later. But ornament done. Read half this book. Been a good evening. Hello friends, and with that I'm gonna end this vlog. I did not read a single page more. I have just been hanging out. I'm so sleepy. I did edit the vlog though, so there's that, and it's actually quite a short video considering, but overall so glad that I not only had a good evening, but it was very crafty. I got half a book done, and I had really good dinner too. I didn't talk about the pasta that I made. That was a fucking banger pasta. It was leftover chicken and bacon from last night. Because Mom and Dad made like chicken bacon sandwiches and I took some home and I just cut it up and threw it in. Pasta today was very easy, very delicious. 10 out of 10. But yes, I'm really enjoying the Just Like Crown. It's really satisfying. I love the way it's written. Sarah Hashem just has a way with words. I don't know. Like I'm just kind of, it's sumptuous. It's a sumptuous fantasy. And I'm having a really good time. Anyways, my friends. Yeah, I'm tired. And my phone is on like 8% battery, so I'm gonna keep this quick, but thank you so much for hanging out with me on this here Thursday for at least starting my 100th book of the year and getting a little crafty with it for Christmas to celebrate that 2025 was the year that I got my baby, my little sleepy baboon. Oh yeah. Oh. I'll catch you guys in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.